Welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We got Georgia stunning Tennessee. We got Miami rolling USF. We got Brian Kelly acting like a fool at press conferences. It's the Big Fuss Show. Let's go.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
Welcome in, guys. It is the Big Fuss Show with College SportsCast. I am Brad. I've got John Hammonds on here with me. What is up, Hammonds?
What's up, man? What's going on, brother?
We are here to have a good Big Fuss Show with you guys tonight and have a little bit of fun. If you're here with us on Facebook, just want to say we appreciate you. We are growing and growing. We crossed over 55. We crossed over 5,600 in the last couple of days. So we keep growing. We appreciate you. You can send us stars to help support us, or you can subscribe to our channel for just 99 cents a month. It is the deal of the century, 99 cents a month. And I say that and just kind of joke around with it. But you do get your own page, your own chat, and a few other things if you join us for just 99 cents a month. And we would appreciate that. It does help support us. If you're on YouTube with us, we appreciate you as well. We're trying to grow YouTube just as much as we are Facebook. And we appreciate you being with us as well on either platform. If you're on the Real Fresh channel, I want to say thank you for watching us on the Real Fresh channel. I don't always say that for the shows. I probably should. He does say that for us most of the time. So if you're on the Real Fresh channel, I also appreciate you. Check them out. They have a lot of good shows. With Howie Fresh on the Real Fresh channel. He was just on right before us with his NFL Picks show. And if you're a bettor, check them out. They're on the College SportsCast page on Facebook and the Real Fresh channel on YouTube. They get like 70% of their locks. So if you're trying to make some money and you're a bettor, check out their Fresh Takes NFL Picks show because they will make you some money. All right. With that said, we're going to get started with the Big Fuss Show. We are going to have a little bit of fun here with you this week. Before we start out with some fun, though, John, we always start out here with the new weekly AP poll. There is a new poll out for week 4 of college football. Of course, Ohio State remains number 1, but I will let Hammonds run through and we will discuss some of the teams here.
Penn State's number 2. LSU is 3. 4 is Miami. 5 is Georgia. 6 is Oregon. 7 is Florida State. 8 is Texas. 9, Illinois. 10, Texas A&M. 11 is Oklahoma. 12 is Iowa State. 13 is Ole Miss. 14 is Alabama. 15 is Tennessee, 16 is Utah, 17 is Texas Tech, 18 is Georgia Tech, 19 is Indiana, 20 is Vanderbilt, 21 is Michigan.
Wait a second, did you say Vanderbilt?
I said Vanderbilt, yes.
Oh, my God. The world is coming to an end.
It's falling apart as we speak. 21 is Michigan, 22 is Auburn, 23 is Missouri, 24 is Notre Dame, and 25 is USC, and South Florida and South Carolina dropped out.
All right. I'm going to start with USC. How did they get in the poll here? I mean, they beat Purdue by like 16, was favored like 25 or 30. I don't know. Purdue is not great.
But I'm going to be honest with you. There's a few teams in here that I have some questions about. Why is Notre Dame still being
we're going to talk about Notre Dame later, but yeah, 100%. Why is Notre Dame hanging out at number 24 and they're 0-2?
Well, I think some of that is the fact that they played two quality opponents, Miami and Texas A&M, and the success last year. Now let's be honest, Brad. They're
Yeah,
0-2.
yeah. But did you lose?
Yeah, I agree with you. They're 0-2, and the defense is not as good as it was last year. They gave up
They
27
gave up
points.
41 points to A&M at home.
Yeah, gave up 27 to Miami, and their secondary got absolutely shredded by A&M in South Bend Saturday night. So the rest of the schedule for them is a little bit easier going forward, but their playoff hopes are on life support right now.
You think? All right. I do want to get to Vanderbilt. I made a joke about Vanderbilt, but honestly, bravo, props to Vanderbilt, to Diego Pavia, to Clark Lee. I mean, the job that he is doing in Nashville at Vanderbilt in the SEC right now, the last 15 months is pretty spectacular.
I mean, it is. Vandy came into the game Saturday as an underdog. They carry a chip on their shoulder, Brad. They went into Willie B, and they just beat a Gamecock squad that was really, really good. You got to give them credit where it's due. Clark Lee's done a really good job with them. They play blue-collar football. They get after you. They play physical. They got a really good quarterback in Diego Pavia.
New Mexico State 2.0 could win games in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean they're really putting it together. They got two winnable games coming up. Georgia State and I think Utah State. Which, listen, they're going to probably be 5-0 going to Alabama,
which is unbelievable.
Which to me is going to be wild to think about, because most of the time that's not a huge game, but that's going to be a big game on the schedule when Alabama rolls around. So,
and it's in Nashville this time, right?
No, it's in Tuscaloosa this year. They beat them last year in Nashville.
They was on the road last year. Oh, they beat them in Nashville last year?
They beat them in Nashville last year.
Okay. All right. Well, my bad. I apologize.
Either way, it's going to be a really good game, I think. Alabama's probably going to be after some revenge on that game. So, props to Vanderbilt.
Yeah. For real. Georgia Tech. We're going to talk about these teams a little bit later in a topic that I have here, but you got to give super props out to Georgia Tech. Brent is doing a fantastic job as there as well. I mean, these are two schools in the SEC and ACC that, to be honest with you, have spent a lot of years at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech, you look at Saturday, hit a 55-yard field goal to win the game. Haynes King played really, really well. Clemson
minus the Cowboys kicker, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Clemson is not Clemson right now. There's a lot of things. We'll talk about them later on, but Clemson is nowhere near where I thought they would be.
Or Dabo's having to make statements and everything. I feel so bad for him.
The quarterback play has not been good. They already got 2 losses. They're probably playing for a bowl game.
I mean, I don't know, Dabo. Maybe you should have kept your mouth shut about going 16-0, being the first team to 16-0 2 weeks before the season started.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, for real. Georgia moved up after a big win, and we're going to get to that topic here in just a second. But they did move up back into the top 5. Did you think Oregon should have fell 2 spots?
Not really. I think they did what they had to do. They beat Northwestern. Oregon's got a good team, but we'll find out where Oregon is pretty soon. They play Penn State.
Because they had moved up last week after beating the dog mess out of Oklahoma State the week before, and had moved up 2 spots. and then they fell. Miami jumps them, and Georgia jumps them in the poll. They fell 2 spots. I don't know. I don't really think there should be that much movement, to be honest with you. All these teams are winning, so I just don't see that big of a movement. But we'll get into that. And speaking of the Georgia game, John, I thought it was probably the best game of the week.
It was. I really loved Gunnar Stockton in this game.
Sickle.
He didn't show a lot of downfield stuff throwing the ball against the opening 2 games, but he did against Tennessee. I felt like when they needed him really to make a play, he did. He had a lot of toughness. Tennessee jumped out 21-7. It felt like Georgia.
Didn't he throw over 400 yards?
Yeah,
or something like that?
Kind of felt like Georgia was getting dominated up front in the first half. They kept fighting, and he led them to a big victory in overtime. Stockton answered a lot of questions from me on the big stage against Tennessee. He proved that he can be a reliable quarterback. The biggest question for me, Brad, is Bulldogs defense. And that's not the case often. It was a really good win by Georgia, don't get me wrong, but there's some problems in that defense. They got a lot of things to work on. They got
and I think that was last year. I think that was part of their troubles last year is they're not quite as stout on the defensive side of the ball as what they were in the championship years 2 or 3 years ago. So
yeah, when they got a bye week, like I said, this week they play Alabama in 2 weeks. Alabama's been really good offensively since losing to Florida State. Georgia is going to have to really be better defensively if they want to keep Alabama from, doing what Tennessee did to generate a lot of explosive plays. I mean, Alabama, I think, racked up 547 yards last year over Florida, and they're probably going to do the same in a repeat Georgia, and kind of repeat the same performance.
Yeah. So this game here, John, Tennessee started out on fire. They took a 21-7 lead, was hitting 72-yard bombs on Georgia. It looked kind of bad, to be honest with you.
I'm going to tell you where this game was lost. It wasn't overtime. It wasn't a missed field goal. There was, I think, 3 minutes to go. It was under 3. Georgia was behind 38-30, and they had a 4th and 6 on Tennessee's 28-yard line, maybe 38 something. A turnover downs would have probably put Georgia into timeout modes, but Gunnar Stockton ended up hitting London Humphrey for a touchdown that cut it to 2, and then they went for 2 and tied it up, and pretty much from there on, Tennessee just collapsed.
Well, I want to ask you about Josh Heupel. Okay, so Heupel, as fun as it's been, as many points as he puts on the board, as many bombs as they hit, let's be honest. And I'm not trying to doubt. I know people know that I don't like Tennessee, but here's the deal. When it comes to winning some of these big games, they usually struggle. And well, Heupel had this in the bag, okay? And I'm going to say this. It was 21-7. They also had a 38-30 lead with under 5 minutes to go. They gave up a touchdown. They gave up a 2-point conversion. And then they drive down the field in regulation.
Just playing for a field goal.
I scratched my head. I was inside Kroger Field watching this game. Okay. I was in the press box, was inside Kroger Field watching the end of this game. And I remember I telling people, what is Josh Heupel doing? They got down to the 20-yard line. It was second down. There was 13 seconds to go on the clock. He comes out, trots the offense back out after a timeout, and runs a play to the left hash mark. The guy runs all the way over to the left hash mark from the right hash mark. Okay? You're setting up for a field goal. You got 13 seconds left. You need one field goal to win the game. Okay? He runs a play all the way to the left hash mark from the right hash mark. Then he calls another timeout. There's 7 seconds to go. It's third down. He calls a timeout. I thought for sure they were going to run the kicker out at the 20-yard line and kick the field goal. But no. So he runs another play. They had one timeout left. There was 7 seconds to go, third down. He runs another play, loses a couple of yards. But before that play, they had a false start.
Yeah.
Lost 5 yards, went back to the 25, and then they ran a play after that to the middle, in between the two hash marks, from the right to the left, and then back to the middle, and lost 2 more yards on the play. Okay? And then they kick a field goal that was 45 yards when they could have kicked it on second down, and it would have been a 37-yarder.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but what are you doing, Josh Heupel?
Yeah, and there was another point there. I think there was like 8 minutes left. I think Georgia was back down 5. Stockton fumbled and Tennessee recovered. And then at that point, they had another chance to put the game away. And instead, they had another false start. And that put Tennessee kind of behind the sticks. And I think Heupel ran it, 3 times? He ran it 3 straight times and only picked up, I think, 9 yards. Instead of going for it on 4th and 6, he elected to kick a field goal to put them up 8.
Yep.
You go for it there, and you possibly score a touchdown. Georgia has no way of winning this game.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying to you is this. Tennessee fans was shocked. He shanked a 44, 45-yard field goal to the right. I mean, it looked bad. And Tennessee fans were shocked. And there's been a lot of stuff with fans saying this and saying that. But here's the deal. If Heupel just runs his kicker out and has some confidence in his kicker for a 37-yard field goal, they probably win that game in regulation.
There were a lot of decisions that were made that we could go back and we could replay this whole game and change a lot of things. Like I said, the field goal situation, I thought that was a little bit risky, the 48-yarder. Say you missed that kick that don't put them up 8. Georgia gets the ball back. At that time, I really thought that Heupel would put the leather to the throat, and he would go for the throat punch. Instead, he elects to kick the field goal, go up 8 with maybe 5-6 minutes to go, which in that case, you're still doing really great because they got to score a touchdown and 2-point conversion. But you make a play in that situation and score, Georgia probably don't win the game.
Hey, listen, I sat here and talked about Tennessee's side of it. Got to give Georgia a ton of credit for fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. They were down 21-7. They come back, took a 24-21 lead. They scored 17 straight points. Tennessee jumps back ahead 28-24. I mean, it was a back and forth game, and the Georgia Bulldogs never gave up.
No, they didn't.
Never gave up. They kept fighting. and they knock off the Tennessee Vols in Neyland Stadium, 103 or whatever thousand crazy fans. I mean, that's a tough place to go in and win, and you got to tip your cap to Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. Plain and simple. All right, we're going to move on to Miami, and they pretty much manhandled and rolled past USF, the South Florida Bulls. Of course, they were coming off 2 straight top 25 wins, handling Boise State really well, handedly, and then beating Florida last week. And they come in kind of hot. Their quarterback had been playing well. They had won 2 top 25 games. They come to Miami and run into a buzzsaw with the Miami Hurricanes, number 5 ranked Miami Hurricanes last week, John. I think it was like, 49-17 or something?
Yeah.
It was Miami, and Carson Beck, the ex-Georgia quarterback, really is playing well.
He might be playing as good as anybody in the country right now. Big win for them. USF was really not even in the game, let's be honest. There was a lot of momentum on USF side coming in. They beat, like I said, Boise State. They beat Florida. Miami's been impressive. They beat Notre Dame. They've looked every bit like a national title contender. USF has got a lot to be optimistic about, though, because their conference is winnable, and their conference is there for the taking. That, hey, if they don't lose another game, they got a shot at this thing.
There's several pretty good teams in the AAC, but yes,
I feel like the line was really good for Miami. I thought the receivers were really good. Redemption tour part 2 for Carson Beck, more or less. He's doing his thing. I think their defense is playing better.
Hey, outside of John Mateer, is there another quarterback in the country playing better than Carson Beck right now?
I don't think there is. He finished with 23 of 28, 340 yards. Now, he was intercepted 2 times, but there was a lot of things there. Like, he had one was a deflection, which was not on him, was not a lot of his fault. But I felt like he's played to his level that he's wanted to be playing at. Now, the game was delayed for 1 hour and 42 minutes, but I don't think that really changed much at the end of the game. At the end of the play of this game. So
I have not been a Miami Hurricane believer. I will say that over the last 3 years. I know they have nearly been there almost every year, seems like, and then all of a sudden they make a stumble right at the end. I'm not there yet. They look good so far, but they're going to have to keep it up. They play the Florida Gators this week. We will see. I'll mention that game a little bit later. But we are going to move on to the next subject, John, and this is a big one. Notre Dame drops their game in South Bend to the Texas A&M Aggies. They lose with 13 seconds to go, give up 41 points, and fall to 0-2, and somehow stay in the top 25.
This game, to me, is really telling, not so much on Notre Dame, but so much more on Texas A&M. Texas A&M under Mike Elko is going to be a really big problem. They're going to be good. They're going to be good. These ain't your same Aggies.
I mean, they look good, but again, they gave up 40 points. The defense, I'm not 100% sure on.
you look at
Offensively,
Notre Dame.
yes.
You look at Notre Dame. You know their path to the playoff is they got to win out. Basically, you know, you lose to A&M, that's vanished.
Their path to the
Irish are
playoff
0-2.
is
They
like
failed
that.
to two ranked opponents. There's very few wins on this schedule that offer signature wins. Let's be honest. Now, Boise State might be one. USC's probably maybe one. But you look at last year, Brad. They lost to Northern Illinois. Yeah, they still got to the college football playoff.
They won everything else.
They won everything else, yes. But they didn't have that extra loss like they do to Miami.
Have you noticed that Marcus Freeman starts the season terrible?
Every year.
I'm just saying. This is a running theme for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish now.
You know what's really surprising is they've only had one sack in 2 games. And that's not your normal Notre Dame defense.
I mean, do you guys remember them losing to Northern Iowa last year? Do you remember them starting out 0-2, I believe, 2 years ago?
Do you know what Marcel
It was
Reed?
either 0-2 or 1-2. It might have been 1-2.
You want to know what Marcel Reed's yards per completion was Saturday?
13, something big.
21.2.
Damn. Okay, I didn't know it was that big.
Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this on this part.
Tremendously large.
The last 2-3 years, Notre Dame's defense has – you know, they had the Hamilton kid. They've been almost impossible to complete a pass against. You know, they allowed that 21.2 yards completed. They're allowing receptions and they're having trouble tackling. It's been disastrous for their defense.
Yep.
And where do you go from here is the question. Like, is is Freeman the right man for the job?
I mean, listen, they usually every year have found their footing and made a run. You know, I'm not going to sit here and act like they didn't. They have. But if you go back and look at now the last 3 seasons, including this one, the start of the season for Notre Dame has sputtered every time.
Well,
every time.
You got to remember, he had a 4th down that he went for near midfield with them leading 3 points. Remember in the 3rd quarter. Now he did go and get another one on 4th and 1 from the Aggies 18 on the go-ahead drive. But there was some questionable play calling in this game from Marcus Freeman. The field goal.
And they got the freshman QB this time.
Field goal 43 seconds.
It has to do with the defense, if you ask me. But
you know, they had a sack, they had a snap that was botched, which almost gave A&M more points before halftime. There's just a lot of issues here.
The Fighting Irish,
and it's not like they're getting blowed out. That's the thing. Like they're playing these teams tight, and
they are. But the Fighting Irish is going to have to find their fight.
I will give my all for Tennessee. That's a sign for Tennessee, but they need to give their all for Notre Dame is all I can say at this point.
I mean, they're going to have to find their fight is all I'm going to say, because you cannot drop any more games and make the college football playoff.
No.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going. Which they play Purdue this weekend on the road or at home. No, wait a minute. Is it on the road or is it away? It's at home. It's at home.
Yeah.
They play Purdue at home. So, which they got Purdue.
Touchdown Jesus is all I can tell you.
They play Purdue, then they go to Arkansas, and then they play Boise State. And Arkansas is not going to be a slouch game.
That was a joke, John.
I know. I heard you.
All right. I think this is a big one for this past weekend, John. I mean, there was two big upsets. Georgia Tech and Vandy pulled major upsets. Both teams were unranked and beat ranked opponents, Clemson and South Carolina, respectively here. And both teams, Clemson and South Carolina, have now fallen out of the top 25. Clemson was 12, South Carolina was 10, and they're both gone. Fell completely out. Pretty big deal for both of these schools.
Well, to be fair, Brad, momentum kind of went sideways when Lenore Sellers went down with a concussion before halftime. So they kind of opened it up in the second half, and they just kept piling it on. And they had Luke Doty in the back as the backup, and he just
31-7 at home is an ass whooping. Let's be honest.
It is. I agree. And then you got Georgia Tech beating Clemson. They've been knocking at the door for a while.
And listen, I don't know if y'all saw the field goal that ended this thing, but the time was running out. They did not have a timeout. I don't know if you saw the end of this game or not, but they had to short field goal. Like, they ran the team on. Time was running out. They did not have a timeout. It was wild. You wasn't even sure they were going to get it off. And it was a 55-yarder to win this game.
What makes it even amazing is, Haynes King led a 10-play drive to get them in that position. To win that game. They set the tone from the start to the end of the game. Now, Clemson tied it up at 21 with, I think, 3 minutes to go. Klubnik took them down the field and scored. But like I said about Clemson, there's some issues there that need to get fixed really quick. And I'm just telling you, if Clemson wants to get back to where they want to be, they're going to have to stop this. This has been an occurrence the last, Brad, 3 years.
Listen, Dabo's got to quit talking in the offseason so much. He does that every year. He's got to quit talking in the offseason so much. He did tap into the transfer portal a little this year, a little. So he did make that move a little bit here. And Klubnik is back. Klubnik had a really good year last year. I'm not sure. Garrett Riley, or is it Garrett?
Yeah.
Garrett Riley is the offensive coordinator there. I don't know what the issues are. Like, I don't really understand it. But that offense, the Clemson Tiger offense, should be better.
They should. And I'm going to kind of go back real quick to Vanderbilt. A lot of people don't know Vanderbilt had a 16-game losing streak to South Carolina. 16.
Yep. And that was the first time since 2007 that Vandy had won a game, Power 4 conference versus a ranked opponent, since 2007.
I'm going to be honest with you, Brad. Their run game was really spectacular. They had a really good run game. South Carolina had a top 15 run defense. Vanderbilt really didn't dominate up front offensive, but they ended the night with 2 touchdowns on the ground. I think they just kind of wore South Carolina down. James L. Lassiter, he's really good for them. He's actually a walk-on.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt.
I mean, listen, if you're an underdog fan, these two teams, Georgia Tech and Vandy, in their leagues are definitely underdogs in the ACC and SEC, respectively.
Most years, this Vanderbilt team would be double digits. Losers.
Oh, yeah.
most years. He has changed the culture partly. He's changed a lot of things. You know, that streak Saturday, like I said, they played in front of a sold-out crowd in Nashville opening weekend. Vanderbilt has people believing, and they have their fans believing.
They just can't slip up against Georgia State on Saturday.
They can't. That's another thing, like the whole revenge thing, and not letting one game turn into two games, because
they did last year. That was part of why they fell out of contention, was things, even though they won some big games, including Alabama, but they lost to Georgia State.
And by the way, I wrote a Vanderbilt article while we're on the Vanderbilt subject. I posted one about Vanderbilt today, so go check it out on Stadium Rant.
Yep, absolutely. You can also check out our articles right now on Yardbarker.
Pretty awesome. Stadium. Be honest with you.
All right, John, we got to get to this. This happened on Monday or maybe Sunday. Was it Sunday or might have been Sunday? Might have been the day after. I think it might have been Sunday. But anyway, the first two coaches that were fired, this is after just week 3 of the 2025 season. UCLA fired Deshaun Foster, and Virginia Tech fired Brent Pry after week 3. Both of these teams started the season 0-3. Both teams do not look good. Virginia Tech got trounced by Old Dominion at home.
Not great.
It was ugly. It was ugly.
Now, UCLA is close to becoming the first power conference team since 2015 to go 0-12.
I mean, it could happen.
I'm going to say this. This is where I want to have my rant. You care if I have my state, you call it, but I like Deshaun Foster. I think he's a good guy.
He was a good player.
He was a good player for UCLA.
Yep.
Now, his coaching abilities are questionable.
I mean, he's only got to coach for 15 games,
He's only got to coach for 15 games. Here's what I would have done if I was the administration. I would have let him finish the year out, buy him out at the end of the season, and try to find a new coach. Here's where the problem is, and this is where I get mad about this. You now have the situation where the portal gets involved during the middle of the year.
Both of these schools yesterday, the transfer portal opened for 30 days in season.
Yeah.
And when you fire the coach, a lot of these players are going to be like, I don't want to be here.
Well, and you got to consider UCLA, the last 3 games, Brad, they were outscored 108-43.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Not great, Bob. You know what I'm saying? Not great, Bob. Not great.
Yeah. It wasn't good.
There was a lot of
and Virginia Tech was just about as bad. I didn't see the final score, but Old Dominion, by the way, Old Dominion beat the snot out of Virginia Tech Hokies at home. Now, this is the same Old Dominion team that almost beat South Carolina last year and should have.
Well, and like I said, yesterday, it's going to open up a 30-day transfer window who with players that can leave for other teams.
By the way, NCAA, fix this issue.
And since UCLA have not played 4 games, they do have an option to use a red shirt but not immediately play. And UCLA's already lost, I think, 6 recruits, high school recruits.
Yep.
I think they lost a 4-star lineman. I think they lost the edge rusher. Can't remember.
Listen, it boils down to this. When you make this move this early in the season, you are jeopardizing your entire program. Your entire program. Recruits, transfers. It could be likely that both of these teams or one of these teams will not even be able to complete this season. Forfeit games. Okay? Imagine how much money your school is losing if you have to forfeit 6 games.
You gotta look at Virginia Tech, Brad. Virginia Tech played for a national championship in '99, right? They won at least 10 games 13 times. That was under Frank Beamer.
Yeah.
Justin Fuentes took over in, I think, 16 and won 19 games in his first 2 years. But after that, it kind of just went downhill. That loss Saturday was probably the most embarrassing ones I've ever seen from a leader standpoint.
And UCLA's had some good years, good players over the years.
This could impact the roster too because it's less than 5 games. So they're going to probably be able to do the same thing they done at UCLA. And now Virginia Tech plays Wofford, I think, this week. And then they go to NC State, which is not going to be great because NC State's playing really good right now. So there's some names out there. I mean, some names I've heard from some people. The South Florida coach, Goish.
Yeah, but who's going to leave their program 3 games into the who's leaving in the middle of the damn season?
No, nobody at this point.
I just don't get why you are jeopardizing your entire program.
Yeah, in the middle of the year. Yeah, that's what I don't understand.
And the NCAA, please fix this issue. This should not be. I understand that the coach left, and everybody's going to scream, well, the coach can do it, so can the players. Well, if the coach can do it, so can the players. Well, I mean, come on, people. This is in the middle of the damn season, okay? I understand that the players should have that option, but that option should not – wait a second. That option should not freaking start until the season is finished.
Well, and that's, he only coached 15 games. And you're basically saying we're going to throw you out the door right in the middle of the year.
And here's another issue I have with it. Right now, they're in talks and most likely going to pass in January only a 10-day transfer window. One time in January. If we're only giving these kids 10 days in January, why the hell are we still giving every school 30 days after a coach leaves or quits or is fired? Can you answer me that? Why in the hell, if we only giving them 10 days in January to make this decision, why in the hell are we giving these kids 30 days after a coach is gone? I'm just saying, none of it makes sense. It shouldn't be 30 days, and it should not open in the middle of a damn season. I mean,
was it year 4 last? Jim Larinaga in basketball? Was it? I think it was was it a year ago or last year or whenever? Miami,
The bowl games have been canceled. Some of the football The bowl games have been canceled because so many kids put their name in the portal and they can't make the trip.
Here's the big question.
Guess
Here's
what?
the big question.
That's going to happen in week 4, week 5, week 6,
Here's
the
the
rest
question.
of the damn season.
What's going to happen when they can't field a team?
That's what I'm saying. The rest of the season. Imagine how much money you are costing not only your school, but if this is the the ACC or the Big Ten. How much TV revenue are you costing your conference by having to forfeit games? It's insane. And it needs fixed. It's absolutely insane. All right, we're going to move on to something I think is kind of funny, something a little foolish here. We're going to move on to Brian Kelly. I don't know if you guys, Brian Kelly gets the win in Baton Rouge on Saturday night, 20-10. And the very first question when he steps up to the mic, John, I'm pretty sure Brian Kelly didn't like it.
He didn't. He went kind of, I know what he was mad at. He said he
was sick and tired of these questions.
He was talking. It was kind of going after the offense. They only scored 1 touchdown against Florida on Saturday.
He said we played to win the game. He went all Herm Edwards on everybody.
He said, "What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
We played to win the game." He went all Herm Edwards on him.
I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? For us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
Yeah. Oh, it was epic. I loved it.
It was fun.
I laughed.
And then he kind of come out to, was it Monday, and he apologized for the rant, and he said he texted the media member that he lashed out at. So
I wanted to say playoffs. Like, I'm serious. Every one of them that I could think of, it all ran through my head.
Yeah.
You play to win the game.
I wish I had that clip somewhere.
I mean, it was just funny. Listen, he's winning games in Baton Rouge. He stated out they're 17-1 in night games. Since he's been there, he said we win games. These kids work hard. He had a big rant, Yeah. And what's up, Dave?
What's up, Dave?
But it was really funny. I thought it was funny. I'm sure the guy that he was talking to that asked the question probably did not think it was funny. I am in the media. That could happen to me. I'm just saying, I get it, okay? But at the same time, if it did happen to me, I hope I could be lighthearted about it.
He kind of brought up, he said the football team has worked their tails off, and, you're spoiled. He said, you're spoiled.
Yeah, he told the guy that they're spoiled. The press was spoiled. He acted as if he
was like telling them how they microanalyze every game, and
he acted like he sincerely loved the Louisiana press. Is all I'm going to say. It was kind of funny. Again, that could happen to me. I'm not saying I'm in front of Brian Kelly, but I have been in front of some people. And listen, I was in front of Vic Schaefer last year, and I don't know if y'all know about Vic Schaefer and the girls and the women's basketball, but he can let it out there. LSU coach on the women's side, she can let it out there. Like you don't want to ask the wrong question to these people. LSU, Brian Kelly, her. I mean, I don't know, but it was kind of funny, and it can happen. And hopefully the guy who asked the question could be a little bit lighthearted and accept the apology. All right, John, I got to ask you about Arch. Arch Manning vows in the last day, maybe today, earlier, to play better in SEC play. But first, they have another tic-tac game this week. I don't know. I can't even think who they play, but somebody they drew out of a Cracker Jack box or something. I'm not sure. Who is Texas playing? Seriously.
Sam Houston State.
And here's the deal. Arch has not played good. I think he had did I hear this right? I was traveling and covering games on a game on Saturday. So I think I heard that he had 16 straight incompletions against UTEP.
He did against UTEP. Yeah.
16 straight incompletions.
Yeah, he was 11 of 25. He had an interception and a touchdown. He had a streak of 10 consecutive incompletions.
10. Okay.
10. He sidearmed a lot of throws, Brad. He missed receivers. There were a lot of boos in the first half. He's only completing 55% of his passes through 3 games.
And the competition's not been fantastic.
I'm going to tell you something, Brad. If he struggles again this week, you better worry about SEC plays. All I can tell you.
Yeah.
I'm even talking about teams like Kentucky and Vanderbilt. And
Now,
to be fair, Texas has probably got one of the better defenses in the country. They might be the best defense, and they're going to keep them in games.
They're only putting up 24 and 27 and stuff on some of these not great schools.
But they're going to have to score to win some games, and especially games like Georgia, and especially Florida coming up when they go to the Swamp.
Yeah,
So you better get it figured out with Sam Houston State. They're on their 3rd season at FCS level, so it can't be great. So
I get it. Listen, I'm pulling for you, Arch, to be honest with you. I was I'm going to say this. 25, 26, 27 years ago, I was never a Manning fan. There was a big reason for that, probably. But Peyton, Eli grew on me over the years in the pros. And listen, not just because they can throw a football and they won some Super Bowls. They're fantastic people. And they help a lot of people and give back and do lots of good things.
we do.
And this has nothing to do with Arch particularly. Outside of him, he's a part of this family. But because of some of this, just for me personally, I do pull for Arch to play well and to play good. And so far he has not done that. So hopefully he can show better down the road and that he can play better in SEC play.
You ready for
John.
That?
We are. This is going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. I love this part of the night. This is not going to be the last segment because I have a quick little rundown of a few games for this coming week. But this is going to be towards the end of the show here, John. This is something we have a little bit of fun with each and every week. A little segment that we have here called The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly. And this week, John, we're going to start with the good of week 3. What do you have for your good for week 3?
My good, I'll probably go Georgia. I felt like they played really, really well. They kind of silenced the doubters on their offense a little bit. Another good would be Vanderbilt. They look like a solid middle of the pack, upper half SEC team. And my third would be Georgia Tech. I don't know if they'll win the ACC, but there's no denying, Brent Key gets his teams up for these games. Haynes King deserves a really big trophy for the way he puts his body on the line every single week. He does it every single week. He's so tough when he comes through there, and he just beats and bangs, and he just finds ways to win. And that's what I really like about this Georgia Tech team.
All right, so that's going to be your good. If you're going to pause here, I'll do my good for this week. I want to start with Tulane, the Green Wave. Listen, everybody kind of started the season out with Boise State, and then everybody jumped ship to USF, the Bulls, after they beating Boise State in Florida. But Tulane has started the season well. They took out the Duke Blue Devils, ACC power. I mean, not a power, but an ACC school that is done pretty well. They went 9-4, I think, last year, John, and had a couple of 9-win seasons over the last 2 or 3 or something like that. So Duke has played pretty well the last few years, and you don't see a group of 6 team that's favored over a Power 4 conference team very often. And John Summerall and the Green Wave took care of business against their former quarterback, who transferred out of Tulane to go to a Power 4 conference, and beat them. And John Summerall and the Green Wave beat them. So bravo to Tulane and the Green Wave. I'm going to give them one of my goods. My other one, you took the Georgia Tech and the Vandy one, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Listen, these two schools have been downtrodden in the ACC and the SEC, and have spent a lot of years at the bottom or near the bottom. And it's good to see these two schools being back and competitive in power conference football, to be quite honest with you. So, John, what's your bad?
My bad, I'm going to go the backyard brawl. Pitt. They had a 24-17 lead, I think, with 3, maybe 2 minutes to go. And Narduzzi decides to punt and give West Virginia the ball back on. It might have been 4th and 4, 4th and 5, something. They was on West Virginia's side of the field. You don't punt there and you get the first down, you win the game. And West Virginia goes down, they score, and they win the game in overtime. I think that was really, really bad in a game that you really needed to win, not just for bragging rights, but for the season, because that can be a kind of a season-defining loss in a way. My other bad is Florida. Billy Napier, I hate to say it, brother, but if you was doing to right the ship in year 4, Saturday was probably the game to do it. And he's probably lucked out. They play Miami coming up, Texas A&M.
I'm pretty sure your days are numbered. Pretty sure.
They're getting there. And I'm going to go 3 with one you're probably going to think, well, I didn't see this one coming. Colorado, Friday night. Deion Sanders, he had Shadur last year. He's turned to Ryan Staub. He struggled in the loss. They benched Caden Salter, Juju Lewis, and 5-star freshman Juju Lewis. Early returns on this Travis Hunter, Shadur era is not turning out as well as they thought it would. And then my last bad is probably Liberty. Losing double figures to Jacksonville State and Bowling Green is I don't – Saturday was really head-scratching to me. They went to the Fiesta Bowl 2 years ago, and they don't seem like the team that we thought we was covering when we done our preview early in the year, earlier in August.
Right.
So that's my bad.
All right, so bad, man. Where do you start here with some of this? I'm going to say Notre Dame defense. Notre Dame's defense is looking very bad, giving up 41 points, giving up those long yardages through the air. They just don't look right through two weeks for them. They had a bye or something, week 0, week off. I'm not sure what you call that, but they've only played 2 games where most everybody else has played 3. They're 0-2, and their defense does not look good. So I'm going to call that bad for the Notre Dame defense. And then, John, I want to go. I think I'm going to have to go as much as I'm going to have to go with the play calling from Josh Heupel at the end of regulation. Like, as much as I think that Tennessee played well through most of that game, man, like, you got to quit giving up these leads and these wins in these big games. This is not the first time there's been a few of these where you just don't make good calls at the end of games. And I thought for sure you were going to run the kicker out and kick a 37-yarder with it would have been like 7-8 seconds on the clock. I mean, Georgia didn't have any timeouts. What the hell were they going to do? I mean, kick the field goal, win the game. I don't understand. Why are you running from the right hash to the left hash and then false starting and then running from the left hash to the middle? I mean, kick the damn ball. Don't lose 7-8 yards. That would be a starter. I mean, kick the damn ball. I don't understand. So that's going to be my bad. John, the ugly. What was just downright ugly in week 3 of college football?
DJ Lagway.
Who?
He threw 5 interceptions in Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
in a game that Florida's defense played well enough to win the game. You look at the schedule, and there's a lot of job security talk with Billy Napier. Now they have a quarterback that's kind of got his momentum shaking a little bit. He's still got a lot of talent, Brad, but like his maturity took a big hit Saturday night. 3 of the passes were, I think, they threw them up for grabs, and he just looked so out of sync. Blake Baker, the LSU defensive coordinator, had him seeing double, I think. He confused the coverages a lot of times. It just was a bad night for DJ Lagway. And I'm gonna go with what we talked about a minute ago, Arch Manning. I'll be honest with you, Brad. Everybody's going to look at that game. They're going to say, well, that was a team that just kind of sweat walked. But things are far from good for Arch Manning right now. You would think that Arch would throw up some huge numbers.
They're good from far from good.
with these guys, with these teams that they're playing. He looked like he didn't even look like a freshman. He just looked like a guy that just not a great quarterback.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's still early, but good quarterbacks don't go out and do what he's done the last 3 weeks. They kind of figure it out as they go.
That's true.
And
All
he's
right,
not
I'm
able to do it.
gonna go with Mensa from Duke, and I'm just you leave Tulane to take reportedly $7 million. I don't know if that number's true. I have no idea, but reportedly he left Tulane to take $7 million, and you go back to New Orleans and get beat by your former team.
It was in Duke, wasn't it?
No, it was in Tulane.
Oh, yeah, it was in Tulane. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in New Orleans. That was on the road for them. And you can't do that, man. You can't leave a group of 5 school and then go back, or group of 6 school, and go back and lose to them. I mean, come on now. That's ugly. I mean, no, that can't happen.
He had a decent game though.
He did, but they lost.
Yeah, they lost. So
They were down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They got beat by 7, but I mean,
I got another ugly before we shut it down tonight. My last ugly, and we talked about this preseason because you said I don't know how it's going to stand, is Wisconsin Saturday.
Yeah, that was pretty ugly.
I get it. It was Alabama. Ryan Williams played really, really well. Ty Simpson played absolutely outstanding. Alabama, I think, is trying to get it together and figure it out. But the way Wisconsin played was just downright ugly.
I agree.
No enthusiasm, no will to win. It was just like their pride was just smashed.
Yeah. I mean, look, they were 2-0 going into that game, but they sure didn't look good against Bama. That's for sure.
They did not. I was actually somewhere. I don't remember where I was at. I think I was just out running around, and I turned the score on. It was like 28-0, like first half, second half. Something of that nature. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Now, I didn't think Wisconsin would go in there and win, but I thought they would at least keep it competitive for the first half because they got a decent defense. But that's another coach that's on the hot seat.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have one more for my ugly for week 3. Dylan Stewart, that can't happen, man. Like, it just can't happen. You can't get thrown out of games. You just can't, like, your team needs you. Sellers gets hurt. Dylan Stewart gets tossed out of a game. And that just can't happen. Like, getting beat 31-7 on your home turf, where the sandstorm happens and all that, and you talk about what a great atmosphere it is and all that, between Sellers and Dylan Stewart, that can't happen. You can't let Vandy come in and spank you 31-7. That's ugly.
Yeah. And I will say this to add to that. He'll miss the first half of the Missouri game now.
Yep. He will.
Which hurts his team altogether.
All right, John, we're going to take this is going to be a quick, but just a quick little rundown here of 4 games upcoming this week. I like this one. This was an intriguing game on Saturday. You've got Jackson Arnold taking on his former team, the Oklahoma Sooners. He's with Auburn now, and Auburn's been playing well. And the Sooners with John Mateer have looked – they ain't getting a lot of pub in the SEC, but they look really good.
They look real good. They won against Temple Saturday. The week before, they beat
Michigan.
Mateer has played at an elite level. Should be fun. Jackson Arnold went up against his former school. See where he is in progression. Auburn didn't look great Saturday. Auburn did not look great.
This one's in Norman too, right? I believe.
Is. And I'm going to be honest with you. Auburn did not look good against South Alabama Saturday. There were some issues offensively, defensively. They gave up a lot of yardage to South Alabama. Oklahoma's got a decent defense. And this should be one of the underrated games of the night or the day.
I think so. These are some of the games that I think are kind of going to be under the prime radar that I think are going to be really good games. Michigan and Nebraska play this weekend, John, and I think this is going to be a very underrated game in the Big Ten.
I think it will be. I like Nebraska. I think they got a really good team. Dylan Raiola,
been throwing the ball all over the field.
They're facing an uphill battle probably Saturday.
Bryce Underwood. I mean, this is in Nebraska as well, Lincoln, I believe.
Yeah, there's some concerns for Michigan. Now, they beat Central Michigan in week 3, but they beat New Mexico. But the Oklahoma game, Nebraska has always been one of those teams that has always come up short. We've seen
not always. The 90s they didn't, but
no, I'm talking about as of recent. It just seems like there's not that one game that they can really just jump over and win. And I think this is a game they can win Saturday.
Big win right here if they could get this.
Well, and they got home field advantage. I think they win this game Saturday. That's probably going to be my pick. Honestly, Michigan's just got a lot of issues right now that they need to work through.
I just think it's an underrated game, so I just wanted to bring it up real quick. Here's another one that I think is a far, far underrated game that is going to be overlooked. But Tulane Green Wave, who's just coming off of that Duke win at home, travels to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. Look out, Rebels, because this Green Wave team is for real.
They're good. Red Slaff, the quarterback, I think he's really, really good for them. I think, you look on the other side, I don't know if Austin Simmons is playing this weekend. But, the guy the quarterback that played last weekend, I'm trying to think. Trinidad Chambliss. He played in place of Austin Simmons. This is Tulane's big opportunity to make a statement in the American Conference and College Football Committee.
Absolutely. If they could pull this one off after beating Duke last week, John, they are in the driver's seat for the college football playoff. If they pull
this, because John Summerall is going to be a really big name in the offseason for head coaching jobs.
Absolutely, 100%. If I'm Va-Tech, I'm ringing him right now.
Yep.
I'm just being honest.
And I'll be honest with you, I think and Ole Miss's defense ain't great. They rank second worst in yards allowed.
I mean, Arkansas had a chance to beat them last week.
So Tulane can score. And we'll find out Saturday where Tulane is and where Ole Miss is and whether Austin Simmons plays. Even if Austin Simmons don't play, I felt like Chambliss played really, really well Saturday.
Like, it's an intriguing game. I can't wait to tune into this one, to be honest. The last one I want to talk about on Saturday is Indiana and Illinois. play. This is a top 20 matchup, one of the top games of the day here. But I think this is a very interesting game out of the Big Ten. John, is this in Bloomington or is it in Champaign?
It's in Bloomington.
Bloomington. All right. I couldn't remember where this game was, but they play each other. I think Illinois is 9 and Indiana is 19. Is that right in the new poll?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Illinois is 9 and Indiana's 19, I believe.
Something around there. But either way, you got to think, Brad, the winner of this game is probably not going to go to the college football playoff. One of them is not. But anything less than a 10-2 season is probably going to be on the table. Illinois has been really good. They got a really good defense. If it can win in Indiana, Brad,
it's impressive.
Ohio State's probably the only game they're probably going to be an underdog in.
I mean, Indiana has been putting points all over the board. Now, they have been playing some not very good schools. That's all I want to say, okay? If you want to schedule some, like the SEC, you're going to have to up your game is all I'm going to say. But for real, they haven't been playing nobody. Illinois is a good team, and they're coming into Bloomington here. And this is an intriguing game because, like John said, the winner of this game might be in the driver's seat for a possible college football playoff.
In Indiana, and like I said, Illinois plays very clean. They've not turned the ball over. The defense has been really good. They get a lot of pressure. They got great special teams. Luke Altmaier is really, really good for Illinois. Brett Bielema is probably he's probably going to be in the running for maybe coach of the year for this group. This is a really good Indiana football team. And I'm going to tell you something in Illinois. And I'm going to say this as far as Illinois and Indiana. Everybody thinks basketball when they hear this.
Yeah.
2 basketball schools going out on the gridiron. It's a fun game this week.
It is. This is a good game to pay attention to on Saturday. I like these 4 games. I thought these are 4 games that most people will think is kind of under the radar. And I think they're all intriguing. So I got
a few, but I just want to tell you what mine were. One of them was Texas Tech at Utah Saturday.
Yep. Yeah, Texas Tech at Utah is another good one.
Utah's going to be a tough place to play. But if
Texas Tech has been putting up a lot of points.
If Texas Tech could win that game, they have a real opportunity to make some noise in the Big 12.
So does Utah. If Utah can win that at home.
So we'll find out.
Yeah, that is an intriguing game. I just threw in 4 there because I knew we'd probably be running close to time here. So, but I think there's a better slate of games in week 4 than there was week 3.
Yeah, week 3 was kind of dull.
Yeah. So looking forward to week 4. We will have our game day pick'em show on Friday night. If you are wanting some really cool new tailgating gear for college football this season, check out Home Field Apparel. They have some awesome retro logos, mascots, throwback jerseys, teams, jackets, all kinds of stuff. Check them out. Use our code CSCast. You can get 15% off if you're a first-time buyer. It will help us whether you get a code or not. We appreciate you helping us. And check out the Real Fresh channel. And we are live on the Real Fresh channel each night that we do these now on YouTube.
Football. That's what I was telling somebody today. I said, we're already at week 4. It's going by quick, man.
Yep. Stadium Rant, check them out. We write for Stadium Rant, but they also have the YouTube channel and lots of different shows, sports shows. Check them out. We are doing our Wildcat Weekly show. If you did not catch our show last night, John and I had a very, very special guest on for Kentucky fans. We had the legend, Alan Cutler, media legend, Alan Cutler, on the show last night.
He cracks me up.
For our second episode of Wildcat Weekly. It was a fun show. Go to YouTube, check it out. Go to Facebook page, check it out.
And the girls volleyball play Thursday against Louisville. Don't forget that.
They do. Thursday night, top 10 matchup with Louisville and Kentucky.
And then Monday night, we'll have former Kentucky defensive end linebacker Lamont Smith on from 8 to 8:30 to talk about his career in Lexington and how he was the only player in his time to beat Alabama.
The 1997 Alabama win in Commonwealth Stadium at the time.
The goalpost game.
Yep.
I wasn't on the goalpost. I was there, but I wasn't on it.
Bird's eye view. I want to thank Eric Bird this season for helping us out with our Kentucky coverage with some really great professional looking picks. So I always try to throw that in. And then check us out. These are our previews. We did previews in August. You can check out those on YouTube and find them pretty easily in our library on YouTube. I'm
feeling really bad about some of my picks from earlier in the year.
Yeah, and also the Big Fuss Show here is on Tuesday nights, and our Game Day Pick'ems, where we use spreads from DraftKings and pick games. Done pretty well the last couple of weeks. Didn't do so hot the first week, but I've done pretty well on my picks the last couple of weeks.
I missed one last week. I missed Arkansas.
Yeah, we do 12 games. I got 8 the week before, and I think I got 9 last week, I believe. So doing pretty well. Now, the first week I was at like 5 or 6, so I didn't do very good the first week. But check us out. We are having a little fun here at College Sportscast and do game day pick'ems on Friday nights. We will do one this Friday night. I'm working. This one might be a little bit later, like 7 or 8 o'clock before I can get to this one on Friday. So, but we will do our game day pick'ems on Friday night.
I'm not even sure what the schedule looks like for Friday. Is there any games on Friday?
I have not looked. I'm working Friday. I probably won't get into it.
There's 2. There's actually 3, but Rice plays Charlotte. Tulsa plays Oklahoma State, and then Iowa plays Rutgers, which will probably be the better game of those 3. So
of those 9, yeah.
Oklahoma State better figure it out Friday night. They better win. That's all I know.
Yeah, our Gundy's going to be gone.
Yeah,
gone Gundy.
Know that song by Montgomery Gentry? Gone, 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 gone. Oh, goodness.
All right, y'all. We are going to wrap this up. I had some fun on here tonight with you. This has been the Big Fuss Show with College Sportscast. I am Brad. John and I had a little bit of fun, and we will see you guys on Friday night for our game day pick'ems. Y'all have a good night.